Hello there! Welcome to J Master Productions with your host Justin here. Someone left a comment on my video yesterday. If you haven't checked that video out, please do. Because I mentioned Passport Bros, and they said, "Hey Justin, what do you think about Passport Bros?" And you know what? I'm going to make a short video here describing exactly what I think about Passport Bros. Let's go down to Colombia because it's gonna be a good one, guys. I think this is Medellin, Colombia, if I said that name correctly. But we're going to go for a nice walk and have a brief conversation. What do I think about Passport Bros? A lot of people might look at it as a guy is compensating or it's necessary because we're doomed with dating here in the United States. And my answer is this: you as a man, no matter where you're from, no matter where your future girlfriend, wife, whatever you want to be is from, you have to be grounded in morals and the truth, and the actual truth and actual morality, not your own set of it, not an organized religion set of it, or a social media influencer set, or the government's or a politician's set of influences or man's laws. It has to be actual truth and morality that was given to us from the creator of the universe that lead us into a better life, into a good life. Because here's the thing: you can go, maybe you're a good man, but maybe you don't know truth, morality. Maybe you're a pushover as a guy. Because I would say most guys, is what's going to happen is if you're not grounded in truth and morality, you may go to one of these countries, and I'm sure it won't be as hard as here in the United States to find a girlfriend or whatever. But you're either going to get used, or if not used, what is this? Is this on my screen here? I hope this isn't actually recording on my screen, but okay. I hope you guys weren't able to see that. There was like some numbers here that were popping up. But anyway, nonetheless, the thing is that you're either gonna get screwed, like either the girl's gonna leave you for someone else, or she's gonna use you for something. Maybe she's gonna see, oh, this guy's very naive. I can use him. Maybe I can get money from him. Maybe I can gain citizenship or leverage over him. Whatever it might be, or if maybe she's just gonna be like, oh, this guy's cool and all. Maybe she thinks you're good looking. Maybe you make some money, but there's nothing to you. You got no beliefs. You got no morals. You're a pushover. She could do whatever she wants. You're not going to hold her accountable. You yourself stand for nothing. You just go to work, you make your money, and then you do nothing after that, right? And that's how a lot of people are, right? A lot of people go to work, right? They might make good money. They might even go to the gym, maybe work on themselves a bit, but they do nothing really for themselves internally, and they do nothing for other people. That's for sure. Um, Most people think they deserve a good partner. I used to think it too, because I used to think, oh, I'm good, this and that. But really, what it was is people are just trying to fill a loneliness. They're trying to fill a void, right? They're just lonely. They want companionship. They think a person is going to help them run away from their internal problems by solving it externally, as a lot of us tend to think we'll solve our internal issues by doing something, external, when just really what's happening is you're just running away from your own problems, right? Um, so if you want to be in a relationship, you have to fill the void of being lonely. You have to be good with yourself. You have to be comfortable with who you are. You have to know who you are. You have to understand what your purpose is here in life. You have to continue to take care of yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually, no matter what. Whether you're in a relationship, single or not, or married, or have kids, whatever it might be. Um, you have to stand in truth and morality. Otherwise, you're going to realize that your relationships won't be genuine, whether that be intimate or platonic, whatever it might be. They're not going to be fulfilling, genuine friendships of people that actually care for you. It's just going to be of what you can provide. It's just maybe they're just going to be drinking buddies or smoking buddies, whatever it might be. Or maybe you just talk about sports and nonsense all day with each other, and you just joke around about stuff that's meaningless. But you see, because people aren't coming together the way they should in solving world problems. We're all just very passive, right? We're all just very ignorant. We like to ignore stuff, especially call someone like me crazy and weird who talks about real stuff, right? Um, so anyway, my overall view of Passport Bros is, listen, do it. My girlfriend is not from the country because, yes, my personal experience is I've had much better experience with women from other countries than my own country, which is sad to say, right? It's not that I want all the foreign women, or I have like a fetish or whatever for other women, right, from other countries because I don't get to see them as often, right? It's because the women in my country prove time and time again that they're not respectful. They have a chip on their shoulder when it comes to men. They themselves don't provide much value, and this absolutely isn't all American women, but this is absolutely my experience, most men's experience, and the way American women are. Like, they were raised this way, to not be wife material, to not be at all dependent on a man, and to think they're better than men. That's their mentality. They think they're better than us. That's just what it is, you know? That's the American woman's mindset. And so by talking to women from other countries, I mean, they have family values, right? They have much better family values. They're much more respectful, much easier to have conversations with, a lot more smart, take care of themselves better, stuff like that. So, but it's not the one all be all answer, because it's like I said, if you as a man aren't good and have grounded moral belief systems, or have a sense of self, or of purpose, you're not going to have success with any relationship you try to get into. No matter where you go, you could buy the wife. She probably might cheat on you or leave you. You could do these things with money, try to control, but it's money can only get you things so far. Okay. Um, a lot of women today, I would argue, are not even attracted by money. Obviously, there's gold diggers still, but uh, even not even just in the U.S. The way the modern woman around is to, well, I'm going to get my own. That's kind of how it is. It's almost frowned upon in a way to be, for a man to be your sole provider, because a lot of women will be like, oh, well, you're weak. You had to you have to basically be controlled by this guy in order to have success financially, or this and that. I mean, you guys know how it is here in the United States with the way people are, especially women, with how they judge each other and stuff like that. Um, so on the flip side, I see a lot of this on X, right? A lot of people talking about passport bros, and a lot of the extreme hyper masculine guys, red pill guys, will say it's compensation. They're just compensating. Maybe because the guys are ugly, and the only thing they have is some money, but they got no good looks, no height, nothing really going for them. But the women they just want money, right? So, it's like there's memes about it even. It's like a mid white guy going to Thailand and Philippines, Indonesia, wherever, and how the women will just treat him really well compared to the men there, because maybe they actually think the guy's good looking because he's white and there's not many white people there, or maybe they just think the guy has money and they're using him for money. So I would argue that a good amount of guys who are passport bros, quote unquote, maybe are compensating, because maybe they are not good looking enough for the American woman. Because let's be real, the American woman has the harshest standards and expectations probably out of any nation there is. American women judge men the harshest. I mean, if men, a lot of women, excuse me, in the country will not even want to know your name or anything about you if you're under 6 feet tall, or maybe if you make under 100K, right? Or if you don't even have like six pack abs or something like that. Like, a lot of women won't even want to know your name or have a conversation with you, because that's how harsh they judge you. And I've talked about why this dynamic is many times. It's because women, no matter where they're from, but especially here in the U.S., where it's a lot of sexual empowerment and all that stuff, and over sexualized society, is that women, from when they hit puberty and they go on social media and they have assets of a female, that they realize really young in their teenage years that they can use that to manipulate guys. That guys are very horny sometimes, and desperate and lonely, and lack such companionship that they will kind of just do whatever a woman wants, and women take advantage of that. And because women get so many guys from a young age throwing themselves at them, it's like, they have so many options, and until they get older, that whole thing. But that's a different topic. But women, the average woman has way more options than the average man, and that's the problem. That's where the dynamic is really screwed up for men, because it just leaves a lot of good men, a lot of men in the dust even, and for no good reason, really, honestly, if you want to look at it that way. So I understand why they'll go passport bros, because these women aren't as judgmental, their standards, expectations aren't as high. You can have a conversation with them. They make good wives, and a lot of guys want that. There's a good amount of men that want that, and that's what these women portray. They portray femininity that a lot of these men don't get in the United States, and it's sad to say, because this is the country we grew up in, that I grew up in, and that the women in my own country treat me way worse than women in other countries would, right? But overall, the bigger picture here is it's sad that society is like this. I always talk about why the relationship dynamics are so messed up. And it goes beyond just where you're from and countries. It's an agenda, right? It goes beyond all these things. The reason why relationships are so bad, that people aren't connecting intimately and platonically as much anymore as in the past, and are more lonely and depressed than ever, is because of things like the internet, like social media, an agenda that's pulled women and men away from each other, that's divided them through politics, through all sorts of agendas, right? All sorts of Hollywood films, music, portraying men a certain way, portraying women a certain way, that still go on today. And we're all fighting. We're the most divided generation ever amongst just men and women. Just there, we are the most divided, politically, economically. I mean, just on all levels. It's men and women are like so different now that they can't even get along. And again, you have to be a certain kind of man, right? Because here's the thing: you might hear women say, "Oh, I want a guy who's emotionally intelligent," right? And a lot of red pill guys, hyper masculine dudes, and I just spoke about this with the feminine, embracing your sacred feminine, which is having emotional intelligence. They might say, "Oh no, that's feminine. Don't do that." That's their way of them trying to manipulate you and go with what they want. And you know what? With some women, that might be true. But really, having emotional intelligence is having the intelligence to know that, like, wow, there's a lot of silly things that come out of women's mouth, and if you react to all the silly things that come out of their mouths, they're gonna think that you're emotionally unstable, that you're naive, that you can't see, that you can't lead and see the bigger picture and stuff. Because again, this is how women judge, not just American women, all women, right? They like to see how the man reacts to certain things. They're a lot more observant than guys. Guys are just like whatever. Because again, guys lack emotional intelligence, right? And it's not like, oh, let me be here for you, baby, and be so sweet. It's not like that. It's just understanding the woman and how they are and what they expect and want, right? Not every woman is trying to use you. Like, not every woman is evil, of course, or trying to do certain things to you. It's just, they just might do certain things or act in certain ways. Like, for example, I'm dating a girl now who, my girlfriend, mind you, is not from here. She's from Ecuador. So she's not from the United States that I've been seeing. And why? Well, I'm not even going to get into why I'm dating her, to be here all day. But, I mean, she is just so different on all levels from American women that it's pretty easy for me to be like, okay, this is the girl that I want to be with, And, for example, even my own girlfriend, right? A lot of just stuff that she just talks and, like, it's silly things that come out of her mouth. And if I, like, reacted off everything, if I took everything she said serious and literally if I conformed to what she always wanted instead of being grounded in what I want and my beliefs, then this relationship wouldn't last. If that makes any sort of sense to you people out there. So I said enough here. I kind of gave you my briefly my personal experience with Passport Boys. I mean, I didn't go to Ecuador, or I didn't go there to find her. I met her here in my town, actually, at my gym, at my local gym. That's how we met. And that's the thing. I live in New Jersey. There's a lot of foreign people here, a lot of immigrants in this state. So it's not too hard for me to find foreign women. Maybe you might live in an area where it's hard. You might have to travel a little bit, but might be worth it. So anyway, my overall view on Passport Bros is that you got to be grounded in truth and morality. It's not just going to another country that's going to solve your dating issues or whatever, or your intimate love problems. You have to have grounded in foundation beliefs, and it has to be in truth and morality.